If you want to get out amongst the woods and the gravel trails of the New Forest and you haven't got all day, or perhaps you've only just got into gravel riding, I've put together the New Forest Nifty 50 route, which will take in some amazing gravel, some beautiful forests and a few quiet New Forest roads. So join me down in Ringwood for the start of the New Forest Nifty 50. Welcome to the start of the New Forest Nifty 50, starting down in Ringwood town centre, just outside Forge Cycleworks. Just going to weave my way around this traffic in the car park, which is a handy place to start the ride because there's lots of parking, there's toilets, lots of shops, and of course Forge Cycleworks bike shop. We're just going to make our way out of the town centre, only about 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles, and we'll be on that lovely New Forest gravel. Little round out here just to be careful on. So up and over the A31. Got cheeky Tesco Express in Palna, probably around 1.5 miles into the route, in case you didn't want to stop in Ringwood town centre, but then panicked and thought, oh no, not got any snacks. Just turning off Gourley Road onto Highwood Lane, that'll take us to that gravel. And as you come across here, there's a ford. If it's been raining lots, there'll probably be a lot of water here. But there is a little bridge you can go across to avoid getting too wet. But as you can see, it's all right today. It's just grey. Seems to have an endless grey skies over the last few weeks, which is delightful, but it's not raining, so you can't complain too much. So yeah, we make our way up Highwood Lane now. A little bit of climbing, nothing too much. It is the New Forest after all. Then we'll be hitting up the New Forest gravel. First couple of miles then are on tarmac, which gives you a nice little warm up before you hit the gravel, ready to go and let it rip. Top of Highwood Lane. We're now on the gravel. I'm just catching my breath. Not a hard climb, but definitely provides a bit of a warm up for the legs at the start of this ride. And here we go, onto that proper New Forest gravel. Bit damp today, but not too bad. Still nice and golden in colour as we make our way down to the first gate of many. Now we've got a fun rolling section. So the idea of this route is to give you a reasonably short route, 50k, 30 miles, something you could do in the morning or an afternoon. You haven't got the whole day to spend down in the New Forest. And it's kind of a route that I do fairly often, perhaps a nice after work trip around in the summer, in that evening sun, or in the dark, midweek after work, just for some bonus Zone 2 training miles. We're now back onto another drag, and it's these drags where you can give it some effort, have a bit of a training session, which is how I sometimes use it, or you can just cruise up the hill and enjoy the descents. But as I said, New Forest, nothing too challenging in terms of climbing. So near the end of December now, but as you can see, no leaves on the trees, but nice golden colours, the old golden gravel. Just a very peaceful place to be. So towards the top of that climb we take a sharp left and then we drop down and then straight back up again, heading over towards the Red Shoot pub. Descending cam is back out for those fun descents in the New Forest. This one not very technical, it is just gravel, big old gravel path. But if it's your thing, you can get some good speed down here. Here we go! Oh yeah! Make the most of it, so we're going back up the other side. Lovely. Whoopah! Back up the other side. I need to change gear, so I need to put the camera down. We're now briefly back on the road towards Red Shoot pub, where we turn back off onto the gravel. So just going to turn down Tom's Lane. And there's the Red Shoot pub if you're feeling a bit thirsty already. Only about 6 miles in, but each to their own. Maybe you're enjoying yourself. And continue down Tom's Lane, which has recently been resurfaced and is now pothole free. Just be slightly careful because there is a sharp 90 degree turn at the bottom of that little descent. And now we're back onto that gravel. Lovely. This bit of gravel's been freshly piece bashed, I guess. I was out here yesterday and there was a tractor with some sort of piece bashing machine levelling the gravel out and getting rid of the potholes. It's even better than some of the roads around the New Forest. Come on, where it's been levelled out, it's actually riding like a road. Very quick. Doing 19 miles an hour on mountain bike without much effort. So we're off that gravel highway back into the woods. A couple of little bumpy bits here, a few little roots, that sort of thing. Nothing too bad before we reach another gate. And we're coming into one of my favourite bits on this route. Lovely winding gravel into a nice evergreen forest. And if you're lucky, you'll get that lovely forest smell to accompany your ride. And that's why I love it down here. Those lovely green colours. It looks like the sun's trying to make a little bit of an effort to make an appearance, which would be a nice bonus. Just making our way through these woods. In a minute we turn right. And there's a little bit of a climb, and it takes us back up onto the road that went down past the red chute up to the old airfield. So this is that climb. I probably put a bit too much effort in at the start, hence I'm out of breath. Forgetting that I probably should speak to the camera. Oh, and we're at the top. Into the mist, it would appear. There are normally some fairly nice views over there, but not today. And there's the first New Forest ponies of the ride. So we've rejoined this little road section, only about a mile. Takes us down to the next section of gravel, and this is the old airfield at the top of the New Forest. Morning. Hey, it's very misty up here. This is more or less the highest point in the New Forest. So that was that road section connecting us back on to this wonderful gravel track. It was a nice quick section, only about a mile long. We're fast downhill, but watch out for that sharp left at the bottom. Making our way east again, heading towards the old airfield, Ocknell, and then across to Minstead. Woodstack City. Morning. Yeah, onto these lovely little rolly sections up to the airfield, up and down. Again, you can choose just to cruise or do some efforts on those little climbs if you want to get around quick, or make it into a little training loop. So back up onto the roads of the old airfield. In a minute we'll be joining one of the old runways. Still pretty misty. Hopefully if you do this route it'll be nice and sunny and you'll get to enjoy some nicer New Forest views. So onto that old runway now, which has been repurposed as a road. This is RAF Stony Cross. Only a short distance on this road and it's very flat, but it is quite exposed in all directions, being a former runway. So if it's windy, pray you get a tailwind. Just come past Ocknell campsite. In a minute we're going to turn off this road, because if you carry on you'll end up on the A31 dual carriageway, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to do that. You want to be enjoying your gravel ride down by this green gate. There you go. Back on the gravel. And this is another fairly quick section. If you've got a good tailwind, you can absolutely fly along here. And I'm not exactly pushing along here, and I'm not far off 20 miles per hour. This is why it's one of my favourite little fast sections. So we're about the halfway mark now. Just about to head under the A31 down toward Minstead. But before I do, if you're liking my routes and my adventures, please do like and subscribe if you want more. So here we are then, under the A31. Oh, it's a bit sloppy in here. Oh, what a puppy. See, it's a little bit sloppy here at Stony Cross area. It is the end of December, but it's not too bad. A little bit of spray here and there. Perhaps stick some mud guards on if you're doing this. Otherwise, just be prepared to wash your bike after. Something we all love to do. My front mud guard isn't the best. Muddy legs. Hello, horsey. And we're back onto a lovely little New Forest lane, making our way across to Acres Down. Again, joining those beautiful gravel sections together. In a minute, the road drops down and we go through a ford. Little water splash, which you may remember from the 100k New Forest gravel route I put together. Hopefully not too much water in there today, but we'll find out shortly. Here we go. Wow, oh god, crikey. thought I was going to come off then. I hit a little rut, I think, that was in the stream. That wouldn't have been ideal. Coming up on the left is Acresdown Farm Shop, and there's a little cafe in there. We're about 18 or so miles in, so another 12 to go. That could be a good spot to refuel, refresh, or relax and enjoy. Back on for some more classic New Forest gravel. Now hopefully you made the most of that descent down from Acresdown, because we now climb back up to the Canadian War Memorial. Not too bad a climb. It's about 60 metres of elevation gain over the course of about a mile, 1.6k. So again, you can either choose to put some effort in trying for that Strava King of the Mountain, or just cruise up and enjoy the sounds of the forest. For me, it's the sounds of my heavy breathing up the hill and the gravel under wheel. So here we are, approaching the top of that climb. We'll nip across the road, and then we have a lovely descent for about a mile and a half on some great gravel. And as you can see, we're back out into that mist. Hopefully a nice sunny day when you do it. So across this road. Now we've got a pretty decent descent coming up. Here we go then. A lovely descent down through Boulderwood. You can get some good speed down here. Gravel highway. Whoop-ah. Makes that climbing, whoa! Hey! I was going to say, makes that climbing up Acresdown worth it. Yeah, maybe watch out for the loose stuff. There you go. Back onto the gravel highway. Highway's a little bit more sloppy than normal. They've been doing a lot of forestry work lately, so those big machines churning up what is some of the best gravel, but they normally restore it to pristine condition once they finish. One other annoying little thing about the highway is they have recently installed some more gates which slow progress. Gravel bike is my recommended bike of choice for this route, but my bike is still in a state of disrepair, so I am out on my mountain bike, which is still pretty fast. It's a hardtail, slightly more comfortable than the gravel bike, but not quite as quick. So you can do it on pretty much any bike. Oh, and another gate after that little descent. And just while we're cruising along on the gravel highway, if you've got any questions about the route, please feel free to leave them below. And as ever, you can download the route from the description below. So now back to the road after a fairly lengthy stretch through Boulderwood. This takes us around the back of Burley. You can veer off and go into Burley if you wanted to stop for a coffee or something like that. But yeah, a little stretch on the road, and then we'll head off onto some nice single track and one of my favourite descents in the New Forest. And this is Forest Road, a nice little lane. Takes us around the back of Burley, so it's a little less busy than going through Burley itself. Coming out at Burley Street, which is just north of Burley. We've got about 2 short, sharp road climbs coming up. That'll take us to the road that goes across or up to the A31, where we'll rejoin the gravel for one last gravel spectacular. Here's a little climb, nothing too challenging, especially if you're on a gravel bike with a low gearing. And this is a slightly steeper climb, again nothing too long. It'll be over and done with before you know it. Top of the hill, you can turn off and go back onto a bit of gravel rather than ride along the road. But it's up to you. If it's wet along here, you might want to stay on the road. But today doesn't look too bad, and it's nice to be out of the traffic. Not that there is very much today. A small delay at the moment walking behind this horse. Horse has cleared the way and we're back. Oh dear, no, actually we're not back, it's sloppy. Maybe we're back now. I say you can go on the road to avoid some of that, but it's not too bad. It drains pretty well up here. There's a nice little single track, takes us to the A31. Approaching the A31 where we go back underneath it again. So back to descent cam, one of my favourite little descents in the New Forest, which has recently been resurfaced, and I've not ridden down here since, so let's see how it goes. Yeah, I've got rid of some of the big ruts that were down here. Much more gravel bike friendly now. Maybe slightly less fun on the mountain bike. Ooh, rain bar. Woo. Easy, easy. And back onto the road. Now onto one more little road climb. Not really a climb, more of a little lump. When we get to the top of this, we drop down. We're basically into Ringwood, and we cruise back to the start, or to the finish, however you want to look at it. Woo! Top of that little climb. Now we descend back down into Ringwood. Coming up on the left in a minute is a nice little pub called London Tavern, if you fancy a little drink or some food at the end of your ride before you make your way back to the car park. Now into the final run in to Ringwood town centre, only about a mile left to go. Back up and over the A31, over this roundabout, back into the town centre. Shops to get yourself some snacks for the journey home. And of course we finished down at Forge Cycleworks. So that was the New Forest Nifty 50. Hopefully a nice little ride for you. If you want something slightly longer, I've also got a 100k ride video en route, which you can find below.